Alright. I'm going to be back testing September 1 to September 30. And I always have a checklist that I look at before I take trades or before I get on the chart to kind of clarify a lot of stuff and clear my mind. Because I tend to be very cloudy when I first hop on the charts. So, take a quick look at my checklist. How my checklist works is I always check to see if we have news. But when I'm back testing, I don't do that. But like for the live markets, I do. So my second step is marking out 9:30 to 10 a.m. just so I can visually see it on my chart. It's probably gonna be way over here. Second step I do is I find my bias. And if the market maker model is not clear, then I'll just wait or get off if we're out of New York AM session. So number one, are we in a market maker buy model or sell model on the higher time frame? So we're gonna go from the daily. Daily's not giving us too much information regarding a market maker model. Is this candle still forming? Usually, I would drop down on the 4 hour or like the lower time frames if it's not clear on the higher. Well, looks like price could very well tap into this or finish the 4 hour market maker model right here. Just gonna play the tape. We're just gonna skip ahead actually till New York AM. All right, there we go. So finish the mini sell model, which was right over. I think it was right. Yeah, right over here. Basically, there was a 4 hour fair value gap right over here that price tapped into, reacted off of, came back down, and then this swing level is gonna be the market maker sell model. We complete the market maker sell model, and then now again, this swing high that taps the 4 hour fair value gap is an intermediate high. I could be expecting or be looking for price to target this as the higher time frame drawn liquidity. Also, something that's wrong with Tradeful is that they don't save your presets sometimes. Like, it's kind of weird because I created all these presets, right? And once I created them, they were all blue, like kind of like this. They weren't saved. But once I resaved them, like these ones right here, they stayed saved. But these weren't, so that's kind of a bit wonky. Yeah, we got the 4 hour right there. So that's the higher time frame drawn liquidity. So I'm just gonna make another line right here. All right, higher time frame duo. Usually make that like a colorful color just so it's obvious. We're gonna drop down the 1 hour, and again, very clear drawn liquidity. We have a lower time frame. This is also London high, I'm pretty sure. So basically, what I do is mark at 9:30, 10 a.m. just so I can like be aware of these key times because 9:30 is when the market opens, and then 10 a.m. is when the new 4 hour candle opens, which is like those are usually when the volume comes in. After that, I find my bias, see if we're in a market maker buy model or sell model, find my drawn liquidity, mark out higher time frame and lower time frame because lower time frame is usually higher probability because the lower time frame drawn liquidities are usually lower time frame market maker models. So usually when we complete a market maker model, we usually have a retracement or we chop a bit. So once I get my drawn liquidity, I look to mark my key levels, which is going to be my entry triggers or my way for me to enter a trade. So now that we have our targets, we're going to then be dropping down the time frame. This is also a 15-minute market maker model. It's this high or this high. Doesn't really. I get a bit confused sometimes, to be honest, because I'm pretty sure it's like from the swing high and stuff, but this doesn't matter too much. All right, we are in a 4 hour value gap. Doesn't really mean much. No 1 hour or anything. I mean, we are in a wick, which a wick could be used as a PD ray technically, but I don't do that. We have a 15-minute unmitigated gap here, and a 5-minute unmitigated gap here as well. Lovely. This is not saved. All right. The thing is, like, you shouldn't take a trade unless you have an understanding of what the higher time frame's doing, and then you use time frame alignment, and then you can find your entry model. Otherwise, looking for your entry model to target like a draw on liquidity is kind of stupid because even if your draws are right, price could very well not target it and could come back for it later. Okay, so we are rejecting off this bearish value gap. This could be considered a mini 15-minute, mini 5-minute market maker model as well. I'm just gonna probably play the tape because I would not be looking to take a trade until this low is swept and we get an entry confirmation, or until this fair value gap is filled because it's unmitigated. So just gonna play the tape. Got a bunch of low resistant liquidity here as well. Did they move the thing? That's right. There used to be like a floating time skipper. All right. So there's a 5-minute bearish value gap that's forming right now too, which does not make me very confident. Because even though we set this low and we had an inversion, this 15-minute gap's still mitigated. I don't know if ES took it out because I can't see ES, but I'm gonna play one more candle. Check the 5-minute. One more candle. One more candle. Yeah, because like as I said, if I could have got my entry confirmation after taking out this low, I probably would have taken it. Which it's like an IFEG or a change in state, which we did get that. I could have taken this trade, but just stop here. Right here doesn't really matter too much because if price were to come back down here and take this low out, it's probably taking this low out too. Yeah, I guess this is what the trade would look like, or also to take TP here, which I'm pretty sure is going to be a 5-minute market maker model. Yeah, highest probability, take just the lower time frame targets. But I don't know, it's going to play the tape. Yes, might have taken it, but regardless, price is probably going to take it out anyway. Probably 10 a.m. Alright, 10 a.m. opened up. Any other key levels I can trade off of? Yeah, I have a 5-minute change of state. Price comes down and taps into it. I could use this to target the higher time frame. Draw above. No, for value gap. Nope. Sometimes I also look for like a resweep. When price takes out the key level, then look for like a resweep. Price usually comes down, takes out again. Thing is, we still had an unmitigated 15-minute gap, which just made me not very confident in this trade. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't have taken it based off. I don't know, because sometimes like when you have a V-shape, like sometimes when you finish a market making model, like for example, this was technically a 15-minute market making model. I know some could argue it's swing high, swing low, so this was it. This is the 15-minute market making model. Otherwise, I mean, I mean, man, what the hell? We already did use chain state, so I don't know about that idea anymore, to be honest. We probably also had an SMT at the high, possibly even at this 1 hour high. They were just kind of chopping. I don't like to see that. Hmm. If there was an SMT, then this low is the next low that's being targeted. If not, price is going to use it as support, and we could push higher and take out the other targets, which would make more sense, to be honest. Like, this is not specific, like, technically my entry model. I mean, it's a chain state, though. There's a lot of low resistant liquidity as well. Like, this is a trade that I would take on a day where I'm not thinking straight. It either hits or it doesn't, or it stops me out. Because it's not very clean. I like to take usually inversions because they're I feel more confident in them, and they usually play out quicker. Like, on a trade like this, like, you just can't go break even. Yeah, bam, TP smash, but because I would usually go break even on the internal high getting taken, but since it's a chain state, I'm expecting price to retap into it anyway and use the chain state as support. So I would not go break even here. I'd probably be trying to go break even at this high more so, but again, because this is an internal high, an intermediate high. However, as you can clearly see, when price took it out, it would have stopped me at a break even. Then it would have raised my TP. So trades like that, where market's usually chopping, it's like you just almost can't go break even. But then if you get your draw wrong, because that happens sometimes, you'll get clapped. That's so crazy because like as soon as the freaking New York AM ended, a bunch of volume kicks in. Like how much volume is in these candles? Oh, I can't see. Let's see this. Hmm. I think PD Blake actually took this trade possibly. I think he literally took this trade. I think he did something like this, to be honest. Because we have an inversion. We have area to go break even. We still have this target unless CS took it. This also is out of my trading window, so I'm not gonna take the trade. I'm gonna watch it play out. Actually, you know what? I will take the trade. We are going to risk how much? We are going to risk 1%. The only reason I wouldn't take the trade is because it's outside my trading window, which is supposed to be 9:30 to 11 a.m. But this was literally the setup. Very, very clear. Very, very clear inversion. Um, Super clear and clean. Also, there's a fair value gap here, so price forward for some reason. If I would have entered the trade, the price would have came down. It could have used the fair value gap as support. If it goes past the fair value gap, it's probably going to come for this low. So there's no reason to risk all of this. This doesn't make sense. I could just add more contracts to make more. But yeah, that's basically it for this day. Because that was the 1 hour market maker model that played out. You just use market maker models to find your bias and your drawn liquidity. It's literally the best thing ever. I don't understand why people don't do this. Like, more often I talk about it. Because, like, look, if you were waiting for equilibrium to get hit, it would have never hit for the 1 hour. Maybe another index hit it or whatever, but, like, EQ and trading off EQ is something I used to do, and I would usually wait for that to happen. If it didn't happen, there was no trade for me. Yeah, that's it for this day. We're going to fast forward to the next day, and we're going to delete our targets and do the same thing again.